Hey everybody. People have been asking me a lot about the high-low setup, what the pedals are, what instruments I use. I'm going to show you one instrument that I use, and I'm going to show you the majority of the pedals that I use with high-low. Should answer a lot of questions. So, this is to encourage people to, go and make more loopy, ambient, and constructed music. Sorry in advance. I'm like kind of sick, and I have asthma. Chest is tight, and I'm fat, so I take these like breaths. So not hypoglycemic or diabetic, but I'm just got a cold going on here. So check it out. First we have a Fender Fat Strat, and the Fender Fat Strat is the single pickups and then a humbucker at the bottom. So it's fat and then it's a Strat. You get it? It's very funny. I have two of those. I have red, I have blue, I have old, I have new. This is a less dense wood and this is a very dense wood, and this weighs 2 pounds more than this. I'm positive about that. The difference is just brutally there. And based on the density of the wood, the sound is different, so that's just how that works. So they look identical, but they sound different. Channel selector. This channel selector right here is made in Japan or Korea or someplace. It's really loud. There are quieter channel selectors, but I went cheap, and this was $100, and I got this. And I send out to a guitar amp and a bass amp, and the guitar amp gives me the bright mid-range that I want, the mid-range to bright, and the B gives me the bass end, so anytime I do a bass sound, it's exaggerated by that bass amp, and it gives me a great contrast. It's a loop station. It's not a super loop station. A phase recorder, a phrase recorder. I play like do-do-do-do, and then it automatically plays it back once I do this, like do-do-do-do, 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 and that's how that works. I can record 5 minutes of that. I can record something for 5 minutes long and then play it back at the end of 5 minutes. I think that's the maximum limit I have, and I can change the tempo manually up here, and I can reverse the direction in which it's playing. Got a guide drum that I never use at all, and then I have presets, which I only used 4 of them for, in between songs. And this puts input instrument and microphone, and it doesn't output stereo, which really bites, and it has a pedal control right here somewhere. Yeah, a phrase shift pedal, which would be useful if I had the pedal to make it do what I need it to do. But I don't, and it works well enough as it does. So this is a looper, and this 2 loops, but the majority of what I use this for is in delay and in like ambient sounds, but I do use it as a loop, and I trade it off. Sometimes I'll record something on this and send it over here, and so I'll get different noises. Or if I need to stop this and go to a different portion of a song, I'll have this pre-recorded. This doesn't save anything except for the presets of whatever you set up, and they cannot be the loop. Anything loop oriented is always live. You cannot save anything loop oriented. All the rest though you can make presets for, and make it sound absolutely amazing. And they have just amazing effects on this. And this is a DD20, this is a DD3. You see the blatant difference, they're both delays, but this is a different kind of digital delay. Haven't used it yet. I already know how I'm going to use it though. It's going to work in correlation with the tremolo pedal, and it's very cool. Like, delay is really cool, and the delay is a whole lot of high-low. Tremolo is a whole lot of high-low too, just like a very peaceful instrument sound that you get out of it. Peaceful effect if you use it in correlation with something like delay. If you use it with like distortion, you're going to get like a surfer sound or something like that. It's really cool. But tremolo is really awesome. It's really basic. It lets the signal go through cleanly and just alters it inside and sends it out clean. It works very, very well. Best tremolo pedal that I've messed around with, and I love it. Normally here goes a super octaviator pedal, which is what I use to get the bass sound out of the guitar, and the signal travels like this, like that. So, which you couldn't see a good portion of that because my hand was in the way. But the signal travels from distortion to the rest, because if it hit distortion last, even with it being off, it would muffle it, and I don't know why that is, but the distortion just processes the signal even when it's off for some reason. It's really obnoxious, so I leave it at the front, and hasn't created any problems, but, you know, it'd be nice if I could put it at the end, because sometimes I want distortion without it affecting the loop, you know, because whatever I do, because the signal goes like this, it travels from here to here, so it affects the loop, if people can understand that. But the distortion, this distortion, and this distortion act differently. This distortion is constant. This distortion is constant. You can turn it on very lightly, but it's a full distortion sound. You know, you can turn the distortion down way down, but it's still a full distortion. And this is working on gain, so if I turn the gain down really low, I can get a cleaner sound, and if I strum the guitar very hard, then I'll get more distortion, as opposed to this, where, regardless of how I strum the guitar, I get a constant sound of distortion. So, they work differently. I normally keep this down very quiet, and I normally leave this very loud, and leave the gain down, so when I strum it, I get like a grud, that like dingy, grimy effect, a chromatic tuner, and ooh, that's why there's tape all over this. If you look here, there's tape all over, because I drop it all the time, and I crack the case and everything, but I make good use of it. It still works, so I'd advise you to get one of these if you're into the sound of it, because I dropped it a million times, I broke it, and it works perfectly fine. It is an E-bow, and it's supposed to mimic a violin bow. So violin, bow to violin, E-bow to guitar. That's your SAT analogy right there. So here's what this does. If you haven't noticed me use it at all so far, it's gonna make the sound. It's coming up. It's very faint. Don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, it works with magnets, so it interacts with the pickup. Whatever pickup is active, you notice in the back I have the pickup selector. So let's say I have it all the way up there. The closer that this gets to that pickup, the louder it is. It's just interacting with the magnet in the pickup already, and you get a really cool effect out of it. So that's the setup. Hope you liked it, and now you kind of have an idea of what you can do. You can go, there's all kinds of different loop stations that you can get. There's even a loop station now, like this, that comes in a pedal like this, so that's cool. I don't know if you can see that. Loop station like this, pedal like that one right here. So you get like a really small one, it's red, whatever. You can go do it up. It's cool. So that's a setup, and thanks for your inquiries about it, and hope I answered a lot of people's questions.